go inside out again. I've been in there fast.
You would think he has to make him hit it on the leg side. All his fielders out there.
6 to win. 4 for a super over. More. He's hit a 6 off the final ball. The Thunder is still alive. What a finish.
Yes. G'day, guys. We're live. We're back for the round 5 preview of BBL Supercoach. And as always, we're brought to you by Ryan from Astute Newstead, the Standard Squeeze and Bonus Bank. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell as well. Mick, what's on tonight, mate? What are we going through? Or the Savo, I should say.
Yeah, the Savo. Yeah, we'll talk through the winners and losers from round 4 and preview the trades and captains for the week ahead. And, of course, we'll answer every question in the live. Braino, let's get to it.
Welcome to the ultimate super coach and fantasy sports show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
G'day, guys, and welcome back. It is the Insight BBL show. I'm your host, Nathan Brain, and of course, the big horse, Mickey Dell. He's with me, as always, to talk through all things round 5 of BBL Supercoach. Fuck, round 5. We're nearly halfway through, or past halfway of the comp, Mick.
It's going so quick, isn't it? You get sort of your AFL, NRL Supercoach, it drags on 22, 24, 27 weeks, but you got BBL, 9 rounds halfway through. It's skipping along. How you looking so far?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I feel pretty good about the fact that I obviously went with the VC Daniel Sams like most did. Shout out to Brent, who thought it was a good idea to fade him. Couldn't get away with it. I had to be mentioned.
Brent. Yeah.
But I think I'm on 761. 761? Yeah, 761. I've got 4 to play, so 4 Thunder players left in this last game, no Sixers players. So, yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I'm almost identical to you, mate. So I'm on 750 with 4 to play, bringing in Paul Walter, and he shut the bed a little bit, but you got to look at the positive side in cash gen, and that's the same with Bo Webster. He had a negative break even, thank fuck, because he scored 0 and unable to loop his score out. So we're sitting on 754 to play. For me, it's Sam's VC. I looped him into the C position. Ollie Davies, Alex Hales, and the Chicken Sanger.
Yeah, nice. I've got a couple different to you. I've got the Sam's VC loop. I've got Sanger. But I've got Cam Bancroft, who I went early on last week. And then I went real rogue left field about 10 minutes before play on, when was it? The first game of the week, whenever, Thursday.
Yeah.
And bought in Gurinder Sandhu. When I saw him be named, I just thought, I said it on the pod as well, so I just thought I'm just going to run with it and see how it goes. He did okay. He jagged a wicket in the third ball or something like that, so that was handy. But nothing really from there. But the one positive thing for anybody who went early on Gurinder, there's every chance now without the death bowler, what's his name, Zaman Khan, without him around for game 2, there's every chance Gurinder gets death bowling duties with Daniel Sams. So that could be pretty handy, I think, for anybody, including myself, who went early. But mate, we'll cover all that. Plenty more. But guys, before we jump in, hit subscribe, jump in the Unlimited group. Code's 482267, I think it is. We're going to close this off after round 5. It's going to be gone. You can't enter after that. No, anybody that enters after round 5 can't be eligible for any prizes. So please jump in, guys. We'd love to obviously give out as many as possible. So get in there now, 482267, or the link is in the description below in the video. And also jump in the Discord. We've got some pretty cool stuff that we're planning for 2024 in there. So jump in there. You get access to us, our trades, our final teams every single round, and obviously with all the other Supercoach sports as well that we cover, you'll get all the same insight from all the other experts in there as well. So jump on in and have your say, and obviously get involved in the community team as well, which is doing actually pretty well. Now, the squeeze of the week. Brought to you by the Standard Squeeze. Standard Squeeze, awesome bunch of blokes have followed and long-term sponsor, followed the podcast since near day 1, I think it was, Mick. They've looked after us, and for anybody who wants to go and get any of their stuff, it's thestandardsqueeze.com is the website. Use Insight15 as the code. You can get yourself little 4-in-1s here. These are the ones, the bad boys that we give out as prizes, and also the combo packs. Do you have one on you, Mick, for the video? I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mick's got one on screen. You can basically just chuck your spirits in that bad boy and it'll fill up the little tub at the top and it'll give you the perfect pour every single time for all of your, whiskey or whatever your poison is. Obviously, if you're going to be driving and things like that, you want to know how much you've drank. So it's really handy in that respect as well. So standardsqueeze.com, Insight15 is the code to get 15% off.
Yep.
And also, in terms of this, squeeze of the week goes to Paul. So highest score in the Unlimited League from round 3. So we're going back. We obviously can't announce round 4 yet. It's not over. But for round 3, it was Paul, coach of Sal's Entourage, was his team. 1,199 he got in round 3, which is a massive score. So well done to Paul. He takes out the standard squeeze of the week. So send us an email, mate. It's contact at any time. At insightfantasysports.com.au. And send us an email, mate. Show us your team just to confirm that it's yours, and we'll get that prize out to you, mate. We've
Just
got
for
12
those
in
of
the
you
top
that
100 as well. Sorry, Mick.
Yeah, we do. For those of you that are in the live chat at the moment, what we normally do is we go through the episode, we punch out our information for the viewers, and then we'll get to our comments at the end. So for those of you, Aaron, Darren Pierce, those guys that are joining us for the first time, thank you. We appreciate it. Like and subscribe, but we will get to your questions at the end, lads.
Yep, good shout. 12 in the top 100. Leading the league is Scott as well, coach of runs, and it sounds like all his players are doing exactly that. He's in 7th overall in the whole of BBL Supercoach, which is very impressive in 50,000 teams, so good on him. Hopefully we can get someone in that league as a winner. We talked about how we're going, which is good, mate. Let's move into the rewind and we'll talk about the games that have gone so far for round 4. Now, we've obviously only had 3 games so far. First game, mate, Heat 172. They beat the Thunder. They fell short by about 15 runs, 9 for 157. Quick thoughts on this one before we jump into the winners and losers?
Yeah, Daniel Sams, VC. Yeah. What did he score, like 90-something in his last over? How good was that?
Oh, I think it was 100.
So,
I think he cracked 100 in his final over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so social media were blowing up. Oh, it was good to fade Sams, yada, yada, yada. You got to stick true to the form. As we've said previously, you've got to work the schedule in your favour, and you've also got to work the prominent players into your favour as well. And we know that death bowlers, they're either going to go for a lot of runs or they're going to make you a lot of points in wickets. And ta-da, Daniel Sams 2 weeks in a row has pulled off, nearly 200 points in his 2 last overs.
Yeah, and that's exactly, we said it every week, right? That's exactly why you're picking blokes like him. You can put someone else, pick a player in that role. I mean, Jamie Overton will do it pretty well, and we've got Chief Will Sutherland as well. He does it really well. These kind of players are valuable for a reason. And you want to look for those guys that bowl either death or they have a really nice roll with the bat. There was word the other night that Darcy Short was going to get a bowl. It's guys like that are batting at the top or batting in the top 6 and also going to get their 4 over allotment with the ball in hand as well. So those are what we've been looking for, and Daniel Sams does that probably to the best of the group there, or at least the top 3. Mate, the next one, Hobart 155. They lost to the Stars in Duckworth Lewis. I'm still not sure whether this was a win that the Stars would be very proud of. The Duckworth Lewis obviously favours some sides in certain situations and some in others. Definitely favoured the Stars when they came back out to bat. A little bit of kind of water on the outfield doesn't make it easy for the bowlers to get theirs done. But the wicket was looking pretty good, and they got 3 for 67. Maxwell just went ballistic, didn't he, in this one?
Yeah, I think Hobart a little bit disappointing with the bat. I thought 155 was below par for the wicket on the way it was playing. And look, Hobart had the Stars 3 for 5, didn't they? They were really reveling. They were trying to hit the ball too hard, and then Maxwell just did Maxwell things, and hence why you just don't drop and you play a player like that all the time, because you just don't know when he's going to pop off. And have a look at his score, 150 in this round, as just on a single as well. So he's going to outscore the majority of those that are on a double. When you're talking about a player like Maxwell, you just put him in your side, you leave him for the year.
I think the concern for Maxi was the fact that he didn't bowl last game, and with that forearm injury, there was doubts around whether he was going to be bowling moving forward, or whether they were just going to play him as a bat because he was a skipper. It doesn't even matter, does it? Just pick the bloke. Nah. He can do enough with the bat. I mean, we've got very short memories. People in the Discord were talking about putting him on the bench or not playing him or looping him or whatever, purely because he wasn't bowling. But I'm like, do you remember this guy got a double 100 in the World Cup off 120 balls? Like,
that's right.
You just play him. So, he went ballistic, didn't he, in this one? And then the last game last night, the Strikers, 6 for 177. They batted first, and I tell you what, this wicket looked decent. It looked pretty good, but it was slow, and it was a big raging turner. So felt like we were playing in New Delhi.
Majid was turning them sideways, and he's not known for his big turn. He's more for his variance in length and a little bit of loop and trying to draw the batsmen out of their crease and drawing foul shots. But it was nuts, wasn't it?
It was very good. Shout out to the Whisperer as well, who sent me a message asking me whether he should play Majid or Overton. And I told him Overton. And look, they're both good options. But he got me by about 20 points there with that choice. But the Renegades 6 for 178. They chased it down, and there's one kid by the name of Jake Fraser McGurk who literally put the Renegades on his back, and Sean Marsh as well had a good knock. Those two guys literally carried the Renegades through to the win here for their. Is that, correct me if I'm wrong, the first win for the Gades for this campaign? It
is, yep. So they've lost 2 games by, I think one was by 5 runs, one was by 13 runs. They lost to the Scorchers. Well, they got a point out of the Scorchers, in Geelong for that fuck up that happened with the covers, and then they got belted by the Scorchers over in Perth. So, there's not much love going on for the Renegades at the moment, but they're doing better than the Stars.
Well, I mean...
Go Melbourne!
We got the Melbourne Derby coming up soon too, don't we? So that should be a cracker. We've got one game tonight, obviously. We've got the Sydney Derby tonight. We've got the Thunder versus the Sixers over at Sydney Showground, so that should be a good one. There is a little bit of rain on the cards, but it doesn't look like anything that's going to wash the game out or anything. We should be fine. We should be safe. It's been fucking hot all day here in Sydney, so we should be fine. Mate, let's move into the winners for this week. There's a few guys we should be looking at moving forward, and there's a few that stood out. This is why I'm hot. These hot guys, as G would like to call them. Daniel Sams we talked about already, 137 points. He got 5 for 30 with the ball, 4 wickets in his final over. He just went to water in that final over, and it was those slower balls into the deck on a little bit of a slower wicket that did the damage, wasn't it?
Yep, 100% spot on.
We spoke about Maxi, 150, 3 wickets, 35 runs, max strike rate bonus, hit the ball to all parts. Back bowling is positive. Look, I don't think anybody watching this show wouldn't have Maxwell, so we don't really need to have that conversation. But look, if there's the rare chance that someone doesn't, please just get him in your team. Xavier Bartlett is the surprise packet, isn't he? This BBL. Maybe the best way I've seen it described is he's exactly what we wanted Michael Neser to be this year.
Yeah, what's going on with Neser? Like he's not bowling or hasn't bowled his allotted overs yet. He gets his 1 or 2 and he's batting at 8. Like, it's weird, strange.
Maybe it's a little bit of conspiracy theory in me, but I kind of feel like maybe CA of Cricket Australia have patted them on the heat on the back and basically said, look, we might need this guy throughout the test summer. So here's his workload maximums. He's not to do more than that. He's batting below Bartlett as well at 8. I mean, don't get me wrong, Xavier Bartlett's a really good bat. He's played as a batsman only in grade cricket through the summer when he had that back injury. So he can hold a stick. But for me, it doesn't make sense why Neser isn't bowling his 4 overs each game. He's stopping at 2, maybe even 3. So I'd say it might be a little bit of workload management.
Gotcha.
Nathan McSweeney was also great. He got 73 with the bat, 98 points total. Fuck, this guy's just full of class, isn't he? And you messaged me during the broadcast of that. What'd you tell me?
This guy's going to play Test cricket one day. He just looks so composed with the bat. Doesn't look to overhit it. It's just all timing. He's smart. He plays all around the wicket. He's one of my new favourite players to watch.
He's very good, man. Very classy player. You know when you watch those guys that just make it look effortless? He's one of those.
Yeah.
Now, Harris Ralph's little farewell tour ended pretty well for the Stars. He got 82 Supercoach points. He got 3 late wickets again. Again, kind of reiterating the fact that these death bowlers, man, they can rack up points very, very quickly. Quicker than batsmen, in my opinion. This is the reason why we get these guys, is because in 1 or 2 overs, they can score 100 points like Daniel Sams did. So Harris Ralph moves on, but we'll talk about the Stars and what that looks like for their double next week. We talked about Jake Fraser McGurk. He 115. He got 70 runs off next to fuck all balls, just smashed them to all parts, and again makes it look easy. Him and Nathan McSweeney are just those 2 real classy young players coming through that I think could both play for Australia for sure. You mentioned Majib, 3 wickets, max economy rate bonus as well, which is outstanding. He bowled out of his 24 balls that he bowled, 3 were wickets and 12 were dots. So 101 total points for him. And the last, I guess, shout out here is Chris Lynn, Jamie Overton, and Sean Marsh. So they all got 91 for Lynn and 89 respectively for Overton and Sean Marsh. Sean Marsh back from the dead. Just shows that you don't need to be overly fit to be able to swing a bat.
No, what is he, 40, and he's leading the way with the bat?
Yep.
It's a little bit ridiculous when you look at the talent that the Renegades have, and the oldest bloke probably in Australia, not just the BBL, is the one that's leading their scores, apart from obviously Fraser McGurk, but he's just in another world of his own at the moment. Yeah,
that's right. So for anybody holding Fraser McGurk, obviously you've got a fun stat we'll talk about soon. I'm looking forward to that one that might urge people to hold him. But mate, let's move into the losers from this week because there's a few that hit a little bit close to home for me. It's very cold in here for Sam Harper and Bo Webster, both duck eggs in this game. Harper literally looks like he could walk out there with a stump and probably create the same effect with the bat. It's not good for Harper owners. We kind of got him for these doubles and using him as a wicketkeeper loop, and it's literally been a pile of dog shit.
Yeah, you've described it pretty well, except I'd replace stump with toothpick. And they've gone with the whole, micing him up and getting his comments during the game. How about you just fucking drop the mic and concentrate on making a run?
You know what's funny? They're probably getting more value out of him on the mic than they are with bat in hand, which is sad. But I'm a Sam Harper owner and reluctant holder. Obviously, he's got the double coming in round 5, so I'll just hold him through that. And then they've got another buy coming up, I think, from memory. So we might be able to use him as a wicketkeeper loop there in some scenarios. So look, he's lost too much cash now for me to move on. I think I'm just going to have to hold him and be stuck with him. And Bo Webster, look, people got him in for the cash gen. Don't feel bad about that. He's still got a really nice role. He's still bowling. He's still batting 3. And I think we remember the game where he got the 100 million points, whatever it was last round. He took 3 catches. So, he's doing everything.
It was more than 100 million points, by the way.
Oh, was it? Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
You missed out.
Good stat.
But what I do want to say while you're talking about Harper is that you've got Harris Ralph, who's gone, and Usama Mir, 2 bowlers. They're bringing in Dan Lawrence, who's a bat only. There's a chance he's going to bowl again his 4 overs. I don't know for what reason why he didn't bowl, but I can almost guarantee you here on the podcast he's going to bowl his 3 to 4 overs moving forward.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it's relatively safe. We'll talk about predicted stars lineups. They've got a couple of changes we probably need to mention soon. Yep. Paul Walter, popular cash option as well, negative 68 break even, I think it was, and he got 5. So he still beat his break even by 73 points, getting a 5, which is fantastic. And this is why you got him. Hopefully, if you're maybe aware of how to loop or how all that works, you probably looped Paul Walter. I'm hoping. But if you didn't, look, don't feel bad about it because it's still very important cash, isn't it? We've talked about building bank, and him and Overton are probably the 2 picks this week that you can't really be upset either way with based on how they went.
No, spot on.
Matt Short, also most expensive player in the game, and for good reason, mind you. He's been awesome. He got 10. So a little bit less than what people would think. Shout out to Brent as well, who captained him. Got a feel for the man now. There's a question from him, and it looks like he's switched to head-to-head. He's given up the overall race after this week. So, and I know that he's got his pitchforks out and his little Daniel Sam's voodoo doll, giving him a bit of a poke later on this afternoon. So, tough. Marcus Stoinis. All my notes say is Marcus Stoinis sucks again.
Oh my God, he sucks again.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's not good. He looks so far out of touch with the bat. His bowling, he's okay, but he's only bowling 1 or 2 overs, so he's a big no. Stay away from him. He's a trap.
Yeah, I agree with you. Zampa and Tom Rogers kind of went sub 20 again as well. Zampa with 16, Rogers with 14. Zampa had 3 drop catches off his bowling as well, 2 off himself. That was an absolute dolly.
That was
that first one.
Yep.
Oh, that was rough. Tommy Rogers was a little bit stiff as well, though. There were a few real bad misfields off his bowling as well. You could see he was really starting to get frustrated at the back end of this game. And obviously when that frustration starts to kick in and the batting side sees that, they take advantage of that pretty quickly and you lose your cool. So I'm sure that'll be something he'll want to improve moving forward. Do you have this last guy?
No.
Okay, good. All right.
He looks just so disinterested at the moment. What's
Quinton
his body
de Kock
language?
could not be more disinterested. He is on a very well paid holiday. Honestly, there was one game I think where he came out and actually looked like he wanted to be there, and then he nicked one down the leg side. It's a pretty ordinary kind of way to get out as a cricketer. Like getting it nicked out down leg side off a quick is probably the worst way you can get out, really. So that kind of sums up his campaign. He got 20, and that was all in fielding points. He got 2 catches, I think it was, or was it a run out and a catch or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
But otherwise nothing. So with the Renegades not really having any more doubles coming up, their schedule doesn't really look that great either. There's a real chance maybe Quinton de Kock's lost too much cash to move him on. But if you're looking at someone like a Josh Inglis ahead of the double-double for Perth, maybe there's a nice little swap there that you can do.
That's a no-brainer, 100%.
Mate, my favourite segment, everybody knows it, is the deep dive with the big horse. So let's rip in.
I laugh every time I see that. Anyway, so the deep dive, just a couple this week. Apologies for the lack of content, gentlemen. Night shift has me fucked at the moment. But Jake Fraser-McGurk. So we all know he's been on a bit of a tear lately, and on the last double, he sort of stunk it up a little bit. But at Marvel Stadium, Brano, he averages 65 runs with the bat. That's not Supercoach points. That's what he averages with the bat at Marvel. They've got 2 games left, round 6 and round 8 at Marvel. One's against Hobart, who don't have the best bowling lineup in the world. Has potential to go large once, if not twice, again at Marvel. The thing is, though, away from Marvel Stadium, he only averages 16. So when we're looking at what you're going to do, for me, I'd be looking ahead and go, yep, I'm keeping him because the cash gen's going to be really nice. But I'd be playing him in those rounds and then potentially looking to loop him or something in those other rounds. So buyer beware, or if you've got him, beware. He does not play well away from home, but at Marvel, he is insane.
Let me ask you this for Fraser-McGurk. If he is let's just say that people don't have him, right, and they see the 115 or whatever it was, and they go, oh, maybe I'll get Fraser-McGurk in this week. Is he still someone that you should be looking at getting in? Or is it one of those ones where you just go, look, I've missed the boat?
For me, I think it's almost you've missed the boat because he plays so badly away from home. Again, he only averages 16 with the bat. He doesn't bowl. Yes, he's exciting, but until you see that consistency, if you're looking to make cash, probably the wrong time of year to do it, but he's going to pop off according to the stats in round 6 and round 8. So he might be worth it, but it's a risk I'm not willing to take. Someone else that I want to bring up, mate, Tom Collar-Cadmore, the English import. So this is going to fuck a few of our super coaches up because he's taken the gloves for the Sydney Thunder. Cam Bancroft, I believe, had to play one more game as keeper. Is that right? To get the wicketkeeper batsman loop or the dual position?
My understanding was he just needed to keep in game 1. So I think he maybe still gets it. But you're right. If they're relying on and looking and making sure that he keeps in 3 games before they give him dual position, he's in big trouble if Cadmore or Collar-Cadmore takes the gloves tonight. He's fucked.
Yeah.
You can't get it.
Yeah.
So
people beware. Just with this lad, English import, left-handed bat, averages 30 with the stick in 167 innings. So he's a seasoned professional when it comes to T20s. He's also had 92 catches and 3 stumpings, and he'll be priced at 125K. So, we'll get a look at him tonight. I believe he'll be named. If he looks good, could be a nice downgrade.
Yeah, 125 is that awkward kind of import price, isn't it, that Supercoach have set up? So when we're looking at the wicketkeeper position, he's not even dual position, is he? He's just bat only in Supercoach, or is he bat wicketkeeper?
I'll have to check that.
Yeah, I haven't actually checked. But if he's got the bat wicketkeeper dual already, which would be amazing, then he definitely becomes more valuable for me. But if he doesn't have it and he's a bat only...
He is a wicketkeeper batsman.
Okay, yes. Cool. There you go. So that's maybe a nicer option than a Bancroft or someone like that, depending on where he's going to bat. He could bat 3, I think is the word. There's every chance he bats 3 and keeps. So very interesting. Very close watch. But the Thunder's schedule just doesn't do it for me anymore. So, is he even an option?
Probably not. But does this mean that we referred to Tanvir Sanger as the chicken sanger? Does this mean the shit sanger, which is Jason Sanger, who's been playing ordinarily and has been fucking up a lot of super coaches with the way that, or with his lack of scoring runs ability and his strike rate? Does that then mean Cadmore goes into 3 and then Davies into 4 and then Sanger drops down to 5 or 6? Or how does that play out?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, then obviously Alex Hales and Cam Bancroft will open the batting. Yep. Mm-hmm. So there's every chance Jason Sanger gets dropped, or the shit Sanger, as you called him. I don't know whether he holds his spot. Realistically, he's been so out of form. It's not funny. I mean, this is last year's Thunder captain that unfortunately did his shoulder at halfway through a BBL and didn't play the rest. So it was unfortunate last year, but he just hasn't really found his form coming back in. So there's every chance, that he drops out. Or there's a chance that potentially we have someone like Sanger slide to number 5 or something like that. Alex Ross can slide to 6. And then we see Daniel Sam start to slide down the order, which then decreases his value. Because Daniel Sam's being at 6 doesn't need to be at 6. He could easily slide to 7, and they could bolster up that top order a little bit more and not rely on Sam's having to do so much. So maybe that's my preference if I was the coach.
For sure.
Interesting stats. So Fraser McGurk, keep him, I reckon, if you've got him.
If you've got him, keep him. Yep.
But probably not a grab. I saw a question in the comments very quickly. I think it was Braden. Should I get JFM back in? If you've already traded him out, I don't know whether it's worth getting him back. That's my personal opinion. But hey, the numbers say that he might be a good play round 6. So get him in for round 6. They got the buy in round 7, so you've got a loop option there. And then round 8, he's back at Marvel again. So that little 3-week period there could be the time to get him back.
Could be.
So, yeah, you can make your call in a week or so, Braden. Let's move into the game previews, mate. We'll start talking about the round to come. Let's rip into that. Every time.
Every day of the week. Yeah.
Love it. The game preview, guys, is brought to you by Bonus Bank. Bonus Bank is Australia's #1 matched betting site. And match betting is Australia's #1 side hustle at the moment. And you can make some risk-free and tax-free income with Bonus Bank and their tutorials, their tools. You can find edges like enhanced odds. You can find sign-up bonuses, money-back guarantees, all that kind of stuff. They teach you how to do it all as well, which is awesome. So you can sign up and you can make your first $75 for free with Bonus Bank as well. You can make an account for free. And then if you want to obviously upgrade to their premium, whatever it is, their premium subscription, you can use the code INSIGHT and it'll give you 25% off your first month. So go and give it a go if you want to make some cash-free income there. Thanks to Bonus Bank for supporting the show. Now, let's talk very quickly before we preview these games. Stars are back on the double in this coming round, in round 5. Perth are still on the bye for their second round of buys in a row, which hurts, but then Perth's schedule gets really juicy from round 6, 7. They're on the double-double. Yeah. Yep. So we'll talk about some stars to target or not target, might be the more relevant way of explaining it. And then we'll talk about, is it worth starting to get a little bit ahead and getting some of these double game week round 6 guys in, like the Strikers and the Perth Scorchers. So we'll go through that, mate. But let's talk first game. Sunday, 7:15 p.m. We've got, this one's a New Year's Eve game as well at Adelaide Oval. They love a New Year's Eve game at Adelaide Oval. I remember the one, there was 2 or 3 years ago, Travis Head hit the 6 off the last ball. That was fucking awesome. That was BBL Prime. Strikers and Stars at Adelaide Oval, mate. What are your thoughts on this one?
I reckon this has the ability to pop off. Yeah. So we've got players like Short, or both the Short boys who, Matt Short failed last game, but we know how good he is at Adelaide Oval. Overton is definitely worth a play. He's, even on the single this week, he's scoring near on 90, so you're still going to make some really good cash out of him, but more predominantly, he's playing that bowling 4 overs, batting at 7 roll, and making runs at a good strike rate as well. So we're looking at, Adelaide players there. Sam's, for me, he's a hold. Yep. But when we're talking about the stars here. We've got Webster. We've got Maxwell. Stoinis is a definite avoid for me. I don't see any value there at all. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with the Stoinis take. I think we've said it a few times on the pod so far. We're lucky enough to both fade him, and it's worked beautifully for us. A lot of others got caught in the trap. So luckily we faded him. We got caught on another few shit kickers, but it's all part of the game.
It is.
can Stars compete at Adelaide Oval here? Can they get a bit of momentum after this little Duckworth-Lewis win that they've got from round 4? Do you reckon they can knock off the Strikers at home?
No. I would
like
love
a true
to
renegade.
see. Yep, I would love to see a Matt Short century in this.
Yeah, he's going to be a popular player to kind of target just from a long-term perspective. If you want to lock in a guy that's going to be awesome, he might start to drop some cash, but I don't know whether you can afford to wait on him. I think he's just so good at Adelaide, you just can't. I think he's a guy, if you don't have him, you need to get him in this week at Adelaide Oval. Against the Stars as well, who have been, honestly, putrid. You probably want to get him in.
I was reading something before in regards to bowling lineups. I have it here somewhere. They've got the worst economy rate out of all of the teams put together. So teams are making big runs against them. Yep.
That would not surprise me in the slightest. I think they announced their... sorry, I was looking at a different squad. The Stars squad, 14-man squad to play the Strikers tomorrow has been announced already. So Brody Couch and Lawrence comes into this squad. Harris Ralph and Assam Amir obviously drop out. They go on to Pakistan duties now, so they're done in the BBL. So they both finish up. So there's every chance Steckity probably comes into this lineup, and Roccacioli probably finds his way in as well to replace Assam Amir potentially. Yeah, big Rocco. But then other than that, there's no changes. They've still got Jonathan Merlot in their squad, which is just bizarre. This poor bloke's batting 8 and not bowling, so he's maybe he's enjoying himself. Who knows?
Sounds like my F-grade career.
Maybe he makes a really good orange juice. Who knows? Who knows? There's a couple of guys I want to leave until we talk trades. So I won't mention them now, but there are a couple on my watch list, I think, for the Stars, for their double. So
cool.
Now, is it worth getting any strikers in early? Because the Strikers have their double in round 6 before a run of singles. So it's kind of the last chance to really grab them. First of all, how many strikers do you have? And are there any that you're looking to get in ahead of this double?
I've got 3. So I'm carrying both, or not carrying because they're playing well, but both short boys. And I have Overton. I bought Overton in for the cash gen and for the way that he plays as well last round. And it's proved to be a little bit of a masterstroke going early on him, but definitely worth targeting to getting him in. He has, alongside Matt Short, probably the friendliest Supercoach game for the Strikers.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That's fair. I have Overton and Matt Short. Sorry, I traded Darcy Short out after that one game, which I've missed out on a bit of cash there, but there's still merit in kind of fading batsmen only. When you get a good rock, it could be done very early for you, and you end up with nothing, like we've seen from a guy like who got a donut this week. What's his name?
Webster.
Harper. Even though Webster, even though he's got the gloves, Harper relying on his batting more often than not to try and get himself points, so it didn't work out. Monday, we've got a double header. New Year's Day. What a time. What a way to start 2024. So Monday, 4 p.m, we've got the Hurricanes and the Thunder at Blundstone Arena again. So Hurricanes are at home again, which is a big advantage for them because they love playing at home. Bloodstone's actually shown us it could be a pretty good batting wicket of late too, right? So that it might be worth looking at more so some batsmen that could go big in this one rather than the bowlers.
Yep, I think so. But in saying that, they got bowled out for 155, didn't they? Or they didn't. Yeah, so there's potential there for wickets with bowlers. And when we're talking about wickets with bowlers at the death, who better than Daniel Sams? So for me, he's a definite hold.
Oh, for sure. He's going to have the massive negative break even. Like I don't even know what it could be. It could be approaching like high 80s negative break even, I reckon, next week coming off these 2 massive hundreds that he's got.
Yep. And he could go large tonight.
He could. Imagine if he kind of outdoes that big Matt Short double kind of crazy number.
Do you know who would be happy with that? Brent.
Who? No, he would be. He would be very happy. I tell you what, he's going to be trying to probably scramble to get Daniel Sams next week, and then Daniel Sams is going to shit the bed for the rest of BBL. So guaranteed. Now the second game of the doubleheader Monday, 7:15 p.m. It's the Heat and the Sixers at the Gabba, and my God, the Gabba wicket that we saw the other night that we thought was going to be a green top was probably one of the flattest wickets I've ever seen in my life. That thing had a nice little amount of grass on top of it, but fuck, it was rock hard underneath. So, is there anybody here we're targeting?
Outside of the players, do you want to talk about the weather and what's expected up there?
Yeah, I was going to leave that for the end, but
Yeah.
80% chance of rain predicted for this game. Every chance that we could get rain the whole way through. So this is one of those games where I would be avoiding any Heat or Sixers players completely for this round. I would I just traded out my only Sixers player last round, and that was Josh Phillippe. And I kept Jake Fraser McGurk, so that's fucking worked out beautifully for me this week. But I'm very glad because now there's every chance the Sixers don't play next week. Next round, sorry. And, you know, some of us are holding a couple of Heat players. I luckily got rid of all of mine as well, so this game doesn't affect me at all. But for anybody holding Heat and Sixers players, I'd be looking at probably moving them on, or at least looking at the guys with high break-evens. You could probably take a punt and move them to a Stars player, or even start to prepare for the round 6 double. So, and the last game of the round has a little bit of rain, or a chance of rain, potential weather impeding in this one as well. The Stars' second game of the round versus the Renegades at the MCG. So this should be an absolute banger if it gets played. Let's fingers crossed we get a game out of this one to finish the round. Fun little fact for you on Maxwell. So Glenn Maxwell on the double will be a pretty popular captain's option. I might quickly jump to that right now. But in saying that, he averages 47 Supercoach points at Adelaide Oval, which is where he plays game 1. But then he averages 75 at the MCG in over 20 games in the BBL. So we're looking at game 1. You probably wouldn't captain him at game 1 at Adelaide Oval. But knowing that he's going to be at the MCG against the Renegades in game 2, and there's plenty to play for in the Melbourne Derby, we know that. It probably makes sense that he's the most obvious VC or C option. Am I right?
Yep.
Is there anybody else?
And for that, Webster, maybe.
Yeah.
Remembering what he did in, what was it, round 2, where he popped off, taking the 4 and scoring his 50 odds. So
yeah.
There's potential there, but it's just, he's safe as houses, isn't he, Maxwell? You know what you're going to get.
Yeah. I think you're trying to outthink the room if you're not VCing or straight captaining Maxwell this week. I don't know how many other good options there are, to be honest. Get 2 bites at the cherry with one of the best players in the game. So I think you need to back that in. Who wins? I mean, I shouldn't ask a Renegades supporter who's going to win this game.
Someone has to win, don't they?
Someone does have to win. I think I'll probably back the Renegades just purely based on the fact I think their team is better overall and their team is in better form. But we need to remember that there's every chance Joe Clark doesn't play in this matchup too. So there might be a bit of a shuffle to the batting order, considering he went down injured last night, had to retire hurt. So I can't remember if it was a groin or a side strain. There's something going on there with him. And
I think he's batsmen
definitely do not retire hurt unless they are fucked. So if it was a niggle or something, maybe he would have just pushed through and just tried to hit bombs. But the fact that he actually had to go off the field and retire hurt is massive. So I'd say he's a trade out next week unless you want to use him as a wicketkeeper loop option when he's not playing, which is also not a bad strategy.
Yep.
Anything else for the Melbourne Derby, mate, or any of these games this week before we move on?
No, I'll be just looking forward to having a stubby and enjoying the cricket, mate. Be good.
Should be good. You'll be off nights by then, won't you? So you'll actually be able to be half alive.
Yep. Let's get it on.
Let's do it. All right, let's move on to trade talk then. We'll start to answer some questions after that as well, but we'll talk through our targets and our priorities for the next round or two.
Targets acquired.
Now, Trade Talk is brought to you by Ryan from Astute Newstead. If you've ever wondered what the best bank is, or whether your current rates on your home loan are a little bit too high, or whether you can even afford the home that you're looking at, then you don't have to look any further. You can go to Ryan. He'll look after you with no obligations attached at all. The good thing is, if you mention us when you contact him, he will give you a cost-free. It won't cost you a thing to have a chat with him about your situation. He'll go and have a chat with over 50 lenders on panel as well, including all of the major banks. And the best part about it, he doesn't charge a fee. Ryan from Astute Newstead also offers personal, vehicle and business loans as well. So you can reach Ryan at ryanh@eganwealth.com is his email, or you can reach him on Instagram, Ryan Astute Newstead, one word. So go and hit him up, let him know we sent you, and he'll look after you. It won't cost you a thing. So, and Mick, we've both used Ryan ourselves as well, so we can personally vouch on how good he's been. And you're on mute, I think. So let's move on to the obvious reason, the obvious players that we're going to target here are the Stars. The Melbourne Stars priority options. Everybody has Glenn Maxwell. We're not talking about him. Are you someone who jumped on Steckity early?
No.
Thank God. Good.
No.
Good. He's been shocking, hasn't he? Poor bloke.
Yeah, not great.
He's going to be a bit of a trap, I think.
Yeah, I don't even know if he comes in.
He's in the squad, isn't he? So
Mm.
there is with Harris Ralph moving on, there is a kind of fast bowling spot up for grabs at the Stars. Obviously, Nathan Coulton-Isle isn't fit yet. Otherwise, he probably takes that spot. So I'd say Steckity plays game one, but there is a very real chance if he doesn't turn up and fucking do something in this game one, he's not going to come into game two. So he's another one of those guys. I just don't think the job security is there for Steckity. So I think you probably need to move on, or just move on from him.
Yep.
Sam Harper, I would nearly consider selling this prick even on a double. That's how much he's pissing me off. But it just
Fuck you, Sam. Fuck you.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You just maybe if you want, you can just use him as your wicketkeeper loop this week, considering he's playing game one. If he shits the bed in game one, play someone else, and just hope he doesn't go ballistic in game two at the MCG. Yeah. Or actually, the one thing we need to think about here that I didn't even think about until now is Sam Harper's revenge game against the Renegades here. His team from last year. So if you're someone who believes in those little matchup hoodoo things, then maybe Sam Harper has the game of his life against his old team from last year. Who knows? I probably wouldn't get him in though.
No.
Let me tell you who the two guys are that I'm looking at. It's Ahmad Wasim.
Mm-hmm.
He's an very interesting pick. 53 in round 4. So this round he got 53 Supercoach points. So pretty good start for him. He's got a nice little role as well. He's got dual position in Supercoach, which is amazing for flexibility at the back end of the season. And he's clearly the frontline spinner with Maxwell there, isn't he? So is there any reason not to kind of have a crack at this bloke? He's kind of cheap too, isn't he? Is he 130 or something?
Yep, something like that. Yeah, I think it's a great play. Yep, he'll be leading the spin attack. He'll bowl his 4 overs, I believe. And alongside this next bloke, Dan Lawrence, who bowls right arm offies, he could bowl a bit as well. He averages 22 with the ball.
Yeah, he's actually handy. I didn't realise that he bowled as much as that, but because obviously he's pretty well known as a bat at T20 level domestically, averages 28 with the bat, but 22 with the ball is fucking awesome. So he could actually play a pretty big role. And if Jono Merlo finally gets the punt and they bring Dan Lawrence in, which makes sense that they do that, then he could be a really nice play, both of these guys.
Do you reckon Jonathan Merlo has some sort of pictures of the Melbourne Stars' mum or wife or something? I don't know. What's going on there?
Yeah. Look, maybe he's a really good locker room guy. Maybe he's just one of the best blokes, you know.
He's the Paddy Mills of the BBL. Yeah.
He is. No, look, I think if you want to look at the Stars again, most of us are going to have the good options in Maxwell and Bo Webster. I would urge everybody to reconsider looking at any more than 3 stars in your team. Potentially, look, if you want to get 4, you can get 4. That's okay. I understand why you'd want 4, but I definitely wouldn't be pushing for anything more than that. I think if you've already got Harper, then you've probably got Maxwell and Webster. So there's 3. I'd only be bringing 1 star in this week, which is exactly what my plan is. I'll talk about that in a sec. Bring in 1 star and start planning ahead for round 6. That's probably the way I'm looking at it at the moment. Do you agree?
Yes. Long story short, yes.
Cool. Now, let me ask you this. Do we go early on the Scorchers? They're on the bye. Could be a really nice loop for the week if you haven't got a good loop option in your team at the moment. And then you get to get them 4 games in 2 weeks after that.
I reckon it's a ripping idea. Yeah, for me, I've gone a little bit, not so much left field, but I held on to Looper Connolly and Aaron Hardy through their double buys. So I've got the loops in both the batsmen and the bowlers section at the moment with them.
Yep.
And that's going to set me up nicely for the next, well, they've got 2 doubles in a row, don't they? So I would start to look at, your Whitemans, your English, depending on which way you want to play it.
Yeah, fair call. I don't mind it. I think I traded Hardy. I'm going to need to get him back. He's the one that you want, I think. He's just so expensive that it doesn't make sense to go early on him. You don't want to shell out $206K for a bloke that's not going to play. I think that's way too much money. Especially, and Berendorf as well. He's another target for me. I think, for me, Josh Inglis as a wicket-keeper loop option could be a nice play, considering his price has dropped back a tiny bit. So if you wanted to, let's say, for instance, you want to bench E-Loop Harper, and you've got someone like a Ben McDermott, and Harper goes ballistic in game 1, and you've got the cash there to go from Ben McDermott up to Josh Inglis to get Harper's points, I'd absolutely be making that move this week.
100%. Yeah.
So it's worth holding a trade or 2, potentially. until once that first game has been completed, and then use the rest based on what you need for your team. So that's probably the way I'd play that. Aaron Hardy, no, not this week, but definitely around 6 for the double-double. I'll be getting him back. Berendorf, I'll be looking at very, very heavily as well. But the one who is really enticing me to go early on this week and use as a loop is Andrew Ty. He has a -2 break-even at the moment. He's cheap. He's 151K for a guy who could easily be good to be a 200K player. He's got a really nice roll bowling death. I just like his game. I think he's a really good player. And you know what I really like about him? The fact that he stares into the camera for like a minute straight every single interview that he does really gets me.
It's hot, yeah. You know what else, though? He's no risk of being rested. He's come out on record saying that the time he'll rest will be the time that he's dead. So, yeah, he's going to play.
I agree. So I will reassess again. Maybe I'll look at my loop options for game 1. And I'll maybe loop one of those guys in game 1. It could be Jamie Overton I loop or someone like that. And then I will decide whether I want to bring in Andrew Ty for one of my bowlers or whether I don't need to. So I'll make that Perth early grab decision after game 1, I think.
For sure.
Now, let's talk cash gen very quickly. Jamie Overton's still going to have a negative break even this week. So if you miss the boat on him, there's a good chance he's going to be approaching 200K. But I'm going to go and say he's a must-have player for round 6. So if you can get him in this week, or if you don't get him in this week, he may be too expensive for you to get in round 6 when we're prioritising so many Perth players. So I think he is the perfect guy to go early on if you don't have him.
You have to. He's going, like the break-even's probably going to be, what, -30, -40, maybe even more, given that he had, what was it, -68 or something coming into this round and he scored 90. So it's going to be ridiculous again.
It'll be big. Darcy Short, he's still making money as well. So, I mean, look, he might be getting a little bit too expensive for a guy that's a bat only for me. And we know the inconsistencies in Short's game, but he has looked good with Adelaide so far this year. So you can't argue with form.
Yep.
Is it too late?
To bring him in, yes. If you've got him, you're holding him. But
for sure.
Like we saw the other night, 2 drop catches. Like he scored really poorly to start with. He was, 25 off 29 balls before he kind of got going. So, like he's still not in the best form, but he made the best of it.
Yeah, he did, for sure. Sean Marsh, he's going to have quite a negative break even as well, to be fair. 89, I think he got this round. But there's just way too much uncertainty around whether his body's going to hold up. We know that he doesn't travel well at all.
No.
So the Renegades have 2 games at Marvel, obviously round 6 and 8, like you mentioned, but then they've got to travel round 9 and no, they've got the bye in round 7.
Yep.
So he's only got to travel once. So, I mean, maybe he's...
You know what? Renegades may play him just for the fact that they're going to save money by him giving him the pensioner ticket when he jumps on the plane and...
$2.50 to get into the airport on the train. What a time.
Yeah.
How good's that?
Yeah, they roll out the bloody walking crutches to get him off the plane. He'll be right.
Yep, love it. Nikhil Chowdhury is somebody that I'm seriously still looking at. He's only like 60 or 70K now. He was 42K basement price. So the good thing is he made a little bit of cash, then he had a quiet game and it leveled out his cash gen. Now he's had another 57 and that'll probably spark his cash gen again. So that 0 or that 10 or whatever it was he got last week will stay in his rolling average, unfortunately, but it will boost his break even up a tad. So he's a nice downgrade option. If you're looking to free up a little bit of cash ahead of Perth's double-double, which I think everybody's going to need to do, you're going to need money to shell out for Berendorf, for Richo, for Ty, for Hardy, for Inglis. I've just named 5 guys I want in my team. That's going to be a tough week. If you want to free up some cash and you're short on bank, Nikhil Chowdhury is a downgrade. If you don't already have him, is an awesome option, I think.
For sure. He looks
and
nice
the last one, Xavier Bartlett. Sorry?
He looks nice with the bat.
Mate, the guy's a serious talent. With the ball too.
Yeah.
Actually pretty tricky with the ball in hand as well.
Yeah,
Xavier Bartlett's another one, man. He's just an interesting one, isn't he? Like, he's fucking been awesome so far. He's just probably too expensive now. He's approaching 200K. So he's got that prime role of bowl 4 overs, bat 7. There's not much more you can ask for someone. That's a Daniel Sams role.
It is.
The problem with this is that now I think he's too expensive. I think you need to look at other options before he completely peaks in price. And obviously with the Heat potentially not playing their game this week, with the weather around, that's a definite fade. Yep. Any of these guys that you're looking at to get in aside from your double game week guys at the moment?
No. Already got Overton, already got Darcy Short, already got Chowdhury. Not Darcy Bartlett. Xavier Bartlett. Weather may play a part. There's a potential that he won't play at all this round. It'll just be big fat duck eggs. So you said it earlier, any Sixers or Heat players probably looking at avoiding this week. And Sean Marsh, we just don't know what his body's doing week to week.
No, we don't. We don't. So, mate, talk to me about your trade thoughts at the moment. I know we've still got another game to go tonight, which could determine a few things on who we hold from the Thunder and who we move on. But what are you thinking at this point?
I've got to make up a little bit of ground because I've fallen back from my shit-ass performance last week. I think I just got over 800. So I'm thinking I might go 4 stars, and it's going to – I've got 2 already. I've got Webster and I've got Maxwell, but I'm going to bring in Wasim and I'm going to bring in Dan Lawrence as well.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, and they're the 2 that we probably said are the best options there, I think. So you're fading Steckity, you're saying go jump in a lake, Marcus Stoinis.
Yep.
That's a fair call. And obviously Harper is not a guy you want to get in at the moment. His break even should be about 3,000. So you probably want to fade him.
Where are you looking?
Yeah. I'm looking at, Joe Clark at the moment probably makes the most sense, but I am actually considering potentially keeping him as a wicketkeeper loop if he's not going to play. It could actually be the perfect situation for me to not have to trade for a loop player, but have that flexibility there to kind of emergency loop Sam Harper for game 1 and then make a decision about what my second trade needs to be or whether I want to move a guy up. I moved on Philippi this week, so I just don't have that 4th wicketkeeper flexibility to move up and down. So that's my only concern with that one. So Joe Clark could go, but he might stay. Someone else might. Gurinder Sandhu, I'd say, unless he completely blows them out of the park tonight, I'd say he's probably a move on. That was a 1-week rental for me. And Kane Richardson as well, just with the fact that he might rest here and there. He didn't play this week. How often is that going to happen for the final 4 rounds of the comp? I'll probably move him on as well. And the good thing is he didn't lose cash this week, so I can get maximum value out of him. I'm probably looking at getting in Wasim like you are, but then that'll give me 4 stars already. So I'm definitely not touching any more of these stars players. Then I'll be looking at potentially Nikhil Chowdhury to make some cash and get ahead so that I've got a bit of bank then to move on to the double-double for Perth and then the double for the strikers as well. So that'll be a priority. I'll probably make 2 trades to start and make my 3rd trade after game 1. That 3rd trade might be to get AJ Tye in as a loop. So that's how I'm thinking at the moment. A little bit left field. There's a little bit going on this week. So I'm just trying to get off a few Renegades. I've got 4 of the Renegades in my side at the moment. I think I've got Kane Richardson, Joe Clark, Fraser McGurk, and the Chief. And to be honest, Fraser McGurk I'll keep because of cash gen, but the Chief is the only guy I want in my team from the Renegades at this point in time. So I've got to move a few on. Captain, we already talked about that. Glenn Maxwell is the consensus, I think. Don't try and outthink the room.
100%. Get him in if you don't already have him in.
Cool. All right. Let's answer all these questions. We've got a few bangers coming in through in the chat. We'll answer the Discord questions first and we'll move to the live ones.
It's question time. Let's answer your questions for the week ahead.
Now, we've already kind of covered this first one from Bray in the Discord. Is 3 stars enough for next round, and should we start planning for the upcoming rounds? I think that's a bit of a no-brainer. I think 3's enough, personally. You're making up a little bit of ground, so your advice potentially to people would be to maybe attack it a little bit heavier if you're further back from where you'd want to be?
Yep, absolutely. I'm not boosting by any means. I'm going to save my boost to get probably 4 to 5 Perth players in next round.
Nice.
But, yeah. This week, I'll be targeting stars players, yes.
Nice. And Bray's got another question. The Scorchers and the Strikers on the double in round 6, but interesting fact that they play each other twice. So you've got 2 double game week teams that play each other both games. So how many should we load up on? Surely playing each other twice has a negative impact on scoring. I'll first of all get you to answer this one, but I'll preface this by saying that Andrew Langley made a really good point in the preseason. Oh, you go for it then, if you were going to mention it.
No, Andrew Langley's pointed out that so he's won Supercoach twice in the last couple of years, and he's said that he wants to try and avoid people playing against each other or players playing against each other because effectively they're stealing points from each other. So, Words from the master himself. Try and avoid it where you can.
So does that probably mean load up on scorchers, but maybe kind of temper your expectations on strikers, double players?
Yes.
Because I think you have to prioritise the scorchers, don't you? Like the double is way too valuable. You can, I mean, potentially you could look at getting a couple less scorchers for their first double and then loading up on strikers and then trading the strikers players out round 7 to the scorchers players. So that is a strategy you could use so that they're not kind of playing against each other consistently. But I think in a nutshell, just strikers are the team we target next round, considering they've had 2 buys. Brent, our man that faded Daniel Sams, unfortunately. It's the 3rd time I've mentioned it, the pod. Might not be the last. For someone focused on head-to-head instead of overall, do you have any point of difference targets with low ownership? Have you looked at anyone? Ahmad Wasim for the double. I reckon he might fly under the radar a tiny little bit. He's only 0.5% owned. Might be a nice little stars play.
Yeah, I think people would probably just have a look to see what he's doing prior to his first game with the Stars. So I think that'll go up to around 10%, if you're asking me. But I think Dan Lawrence might be a sneaky one. People who aren't avid followers of cricket will just see, oh, yeah, he's come in. He's 125K. We haven't seen him yet. Might try and fade him. But if you're going to bring in someone like that, what better week than to bring him in on a double?
And so I'll add to this that there is no better analysis deep dive than he's due in Australian sport. You know, when someone's been shit for so long, the conversation is, oh, he's got to come good soon. He's due. He's due for a big score. And let me tell you who's due for a big score. 2 of them. Sam Harper and Marcus Stoinis. I'm fucking scared shitless that both of these guys ruin us this week and just go ballistic. Now, as a non-owner of Stoinis, I still don't think it's going to happen, but there is a small possibility, knowing the kind of player that he is, that he goes out and he gets 90-odd fucking not out off 45 rocks and takes 2 wickets and makes us all look silly.
Harper's 100 that he made in the Shield match, the 3rd fastest 100 in Australian history, that was at the MCG, wasn't it? Not 6 weeks ago? That's where they're playing this week, game 1.
And Harper's versing the Renegades who he played for the last 2 years. So that honestly is a narrative, the perfect little narrative for Sam Harper to come good this round. Yeah. I mean, if you want to take a punt on Harper, Brent, maybe that could be the play. He's fucking dirt cheap too. He's so cheap now. So it's not going to cost you anything. It's not a large financial risk, is it? Maybe him, maybe Wasim, maybe Dan Lawrence, other nice stars, little pods. I'll tell you who I don't mind as well as a bit of a left field pick is Matty Wade. Now, I know that Matty Wade didn't come off this week. He played a pretty shit shot to get started and top edge one, but he loves playing in Hobart, and I just have a feeling about Matt Wade that he's just going to have one of those real big games very soon that we know he's capable of. So Matt Wade could be a nice little kind of wicketkeeper loop, emergency loop option. So that could be another pod as well, maybe.
For sure.
My name is DVG, the current 2nd place in NBL Supercoach as well. Shout out to him. He's had a fucking awesome year for NBL.
Hasn't he?
He's asked us, with Joe Clark injured, any thoughts on wicketkeeper replacements? And not exactly thrilled with the double game week options coming up. What are your thoughts on this one?
Neither are we, but we've got to make ground somehow, mate. So if you've got Joe Clark, you brought up earlier that he might be a nice play for a wicketkeeper loop. So, there's definitely worse options out there. So my recommendation would be to hold him and try and maximise what scores you can get through your wicketkeeper or batsman position.
And the bonus is that the Renegades play in game 4. They play the final game of the round, which means that you've got the maximum amount of time for Joe Clark to be used as a loop option too. So that is one thing to keep in mind. Maybe he is a hold for this coming week, and then we can reassess moving forward after that. Or you can go early on Inglis. I think I said in the Discord, Inglis is probably my pick, I think, as a wicketkeeper moving forward out of all of the options, just because it's been such a dog shit position this year. All right. We've got some live ones here, so we'll start working our way through those. Aaron, thanks for joining us, mate. First time tuning in live. Do I get Overton if even it means affecting my structure?
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
I think you have to. Yes. Yep. More cash gen. We said earlier he's one of the predominant players for the strikers. He's going to bowl. He's 3 to 4 overs. He took wickets last night. We saw that. He made runs. He's up there with Matt Short with the better players for the Adelaide Strikers.
And the Strikers have the double round 6. Get him now. Otherwise, you can't afford him next week. is my opinion. And also in terms of structure, I mean, I could understand if he wasn't a dual position player, but like it shouldn't affect your structure too much if he is a bat bowl. You can move him anywhere. So I don't know whether it's unless maybe you've got all of your dual position players in the batsman position, you can't move them around. I don't think it should hurt you too much. We talked. Sorry, go.
I was going to say what would be beneficial is that if you like and join our Discord, you can drop your team in there and we can talk to you about our thoughts in there.
Yep, there is a rate my team section. So
there is.
Jump in that little bit. Post your team. We'll give you thoughts. Corey Blackledge asked our thoughts on Wasim. We've given those already, so hopefully you can go back and listen to those. But yeah, we both like him. We're both bringing him in short.
Wasim Akram, he's awesome.
A good commentator too, actually. I'm really enjoying his commentating for the test. Corey also said he's 678 with 6 to go. He looped Webster over Walter. So that, I mean, got you extra 5 points.
Yeah.
Hey, 5 is better than 0.
Yeah, that's right.
Aiden Green bought in Sandu as well. Can't believe Zaman dropped a catch. Yeah, I was throwing things at the TV at that point.
That was a tough catch.
It was tough. It was tough.
That
but to be fair, he moved incredibly poorly to get to it. Like, if for anybody else, he probably would have been able to jog back and take it under your eyes. So, butchered that one a little bit.
The bloke is 4 foot fuck all, so let's just give him that.
He is. He nearly had to dive underground to bowl. The bloke bowls so low to the ground. But yeah, Gurinder Sandhu, nice little shout. I'm going to have to bring this one up. Sorry, Aiden. Made a bad decision last night. Didn't want to have to take Harper's 0, so I used a boost and traded out Whiteman for Weatherald and ended up with probably the same score as you would have had if you had Whiteman who's not playing. So that hurts. Sorry to throw that one out there, but this is a message, guys. Do not make decisions after 8 p.m.
Yeah, or after X amount of beers.
Yeah.
My condolences to you, Aiden. Yeah.
G Money wants to know, do I start bringing in Scorchers players this round in preparation for their double? You can, but I'll probably wait until game 1's completed before you make that move based on whether you can use them as loops or not. That's my advice. Mm-hmm. Darren Pearce, how do you rank the best Scorchers to get for round 6 and 7? This is an interesting conversation. Give me your top 3. No, give me your top 4 because you probably want 4 at least, don't you?
In no particular order. Hardy.
No, I want you to order them.
Okay. Hardy, number 1. Inglis, Berendorf, and if Lance Morris continues to play, I really like him. But you could pick any one of Berendorf, Morris, Richardson. Richardson's fucking dropped about 70k already. He might be a nice play.
Mm-hmm.
And then AJ Ty as well, bowling death. Yeah. Sorry, I just reeled off 5 or 6, but they're all good quality.
No, there's so many good options, isn't there? I would say the best shout will be Aaron Hardy, number 1. I'll say Jai Richardson, number 2 at 170k. He has dropped 77,000. Mm-hmm. He is now cheaper than Berendorf, so I'm definitely picking, as good as Berendorf's been, I am absolutely picking Jai Richardson over Berendorf every single day of the week and saving myself $30,000. I would say the third best option would be Josh Inglis, purely because it gives us a decent playable wicketkeeper bat. And then 4 is Andrew Ty. That's my top 4. And I've got Cooper Connolly as well still. So I hold him as a loop for the double.
Yeah.
So that's my answer there. G Money as well. Can't believe another week where my bench is kicking my ass or kicking my on-field's ass. Majib 101 and Darcy Short 60 sitting on the bench. Bugger. That hurts. And obviously understanding getting those players that are playing early, getting the emergency on them so that you can make that decision to potentially loop down the track is advantageous. Mm-hmm. I also have Fraser McGurk on the bench as a non-emergency, so I feel your pain this week. I didn't play him or look at him as a loop. So, Corey asked the loop question about Joe Clark, so we agree. Is Overton a must-have? We also said yes, global. Quinton de Kock has been a massive failure. He has. It has been disappointing, but I have a feeling still he's got one massive score before he leaves.
Absolutely,
there's something coming. Something is brewing. Am I crazy trading out Short for Overton this week?
Yes.
So if we're talking Darcy Short to Overton, I think that's fine. But if you're trading out Matt Short for anybody, you're crazy. Just keep the bloke in. He's the best player in Supercoach last year. Darren, Bancroft only had to keep in game 1 of the double. Perfect. So he's going to get the bat wicket-keeper duel. So he could be a nice little hold as well if you want to move on from your Ben McDermott's or whoever else. So good info there. We spoke about our round 6 plans with them playing each other twice global. So we're probably looking at targeting the Scorchers and the Strikers to start, but then maybe double loading up on Scorchers in the round 7 when the Strikers don't have that double, and then you can trade off the Strikers. That's probably the way I'd do it. And hey, this is an interesting stat from Corey Blackledge in the chat. Joe Clark is the first guy to retire hurt twice in a game since 1965. So that's actually that's a very big deep dive. That's a big horse deep dive if ever I've heard it. Very well played.
That's made my DeCock go, yeah, real nice. Well done.
Good.
I like it.
Caleb Bloomer it's his first season playing Supercoach. What is the strategy behind looping?
Jump in the Discord. We'll explain it to you there.
Yeah, it's probably easier. It does take a little bit of a while to explain the different scenarios. So yeah, jump in the Discord and flick me a message or Mick, and we'll explain it to you.
For sure.
Aiden held Ty and Hardy for the Scorchers double-double. I want to get one more next round in prep. Any thoughts on a quality cheap one? I mean, I'm assuming you've got Cooper Connolly. Maybe he's a nice, decent option. I mean, Ty and Hardy are your best, but I would still call Jai Richardson cheap based on what his value is at 170k. If you can get to him and imagine you had Jai Richardson, Andrew Ty, and Aaron Hardy in your team, you'd be pretty bloody happy. I think they're the top 3.
Yeah.
Aside from Inglis. Yeah. And Aiden wants to know Overton or Matt Short for the Strikers double. As good as Overton has been, Matt Short is the GOAT.
Both.
If you can get both, you need both.
Yeah.
I'd probably just try and change plans and get both, to be honest, because they're the 2 only guys I would say are must-haves from the Strikers. The rest you can just go with Perth. And I think we covered it. Any last words, mate?
Before we do move on, just again encouraging people to jump in our Insight community group on Discord. Our community team is currently sitting 145th overall and looking really nice this week. Yeah. So again, if we make any money, we'll put it in the Discord and we'll donate it to a charity that everyone decides on. But it'd be pretty cool to sneak into the top 100 this week.
Yeah, we copped the Paul Walter 5 instead of playing Maxwell on field. So we e-looped Maxwell. So it just means that we're a little bit behind the 8 ball there. But the guys are very switched on with the moves in there, which is awesome. So the team's going really well. We can make a good crack at getting ourselves a $15 Zinger voucher that we'll donate to the homeless or something. So that'll be pretty cool. And Cade, Burgess Burgers is on. Thanks for joining us, Cade.
Yeah.
Late evening. Yeah, I love the Discord. Yeah, so a big part of the Discord there and some good chat flying around in the BBL section too. So thanks for jumping in.
Out of him. Yep.
Guys, that'll do us for the round 5 preview. Obviously, moving forward, we'll be coming to you at the final day of each round until the end of the season to talk you through the preview for the next week. We'll talk through trades, captains, and all that kind of stuff as well, and we'll answer all your questions. But like Mick said, jump in the Discord so that you can get engaged and get involved and get our thoughts specifically on what kind of moves you should make. And the guys in the community are fantastic at answering a lot of questions themselves as well as us. So definitely get involved there. And if you have not, guys, please hit subscribe. We would really appreciate it. It helps us grow the channel. It helps us grow the podcast and reach more people. So we would really appreciate that. Hit the like button and turn those notifications on if you want to never miss another episode from the Insight BBL show. But otherwise, that'll do us. Guys, thanks for joining us. We will see you next time in about 3-4 days' time for the round 6 preview. Until then, you've been listening to the Insight BBL show. Catch you later.
See ya.